Hello and welcome back to Advance Wars Horizons. This is going to be the end of the demo so far. This is only the war room, but I do believe Vivi will be releasing some updates in the future to maybe add some more of these maps here and even a campaign, so look forward to that. But anyway, we've got the final exam today. Okay, so it's a big open map with lots of plains and cities. Okay. Just thinking who we can use here. Maybe use Sally, just to get extra moving out, so from the looks of it, we only start with a few bases at the start of the map. And it's a fairly big open map, so... Oh, there's even contested silos here, okay. Right, we'll definitely want to get an APC out and get those. Right, so we've got fairly low income, fewer bases than the enemy. Our opponent's Mars. How should we play this? So definitely want to go for those silos at the centre of the map. So I think we'll actually get you back in here and rush straight for them. And then the money we've got, I think we'll just save for tanks, honestly. Get one infantry here, just to start capping some of these cities. Okay, so we're probably not going to get those silos actually because there's an anti-air here. Okay. Can we maybe sneak this base or airport? Okay, we've got 5,000 income, so we can't get a tank just yet, so after we capture these cities, we'll be able to forward a tank every turn, so I don't mind buying one more infantry. Oh gosh, they got a medium tank already, okay. How are we going to deal with that? I think I'll actually get this base instead. Medium tank. Funny thing about that is you're not building a whole lot of units by your base. So it may be possible just to rush for the HQ actually. We'll try that. Okay, missile. I don't care about that. I've got an idea here. If you go there, and we can get a silo next turn, actually, before the enemy takes it. If we bait you into attacking this infantry instead of being somewhere useful, that might help. That infantry just targeted itself with the silo. Okay. What a genius. Okay, this is potentially working. Right, we'll launch you because we don't want the enemy to get their hands on that. And if we hit the rockets, we can drain some funds. Join you, keep you alive. Right, is this HQ cap going to actually work? Yes, it is. Okay. Nice. Okay. So you go there. Start the cap. Nothing is in range. Get you to safety. Right, so how many units you built? Not many, so power is already good to go. So we've got one weak infantry here we can kill. If we bait out this tank into attacking you, you're not going to kill in 2 hits, so we can just weaken you instead. Right, so over here with this mech, no, recon, I guess we can just put you, where are you going to go? Probably here, I'd imagine, so put you here. And you can go over here. Right, so that wasn't much of a final exam, I'm sorry to say. Look at all those indirects by the HQ. You're doing your job valiantly. Anyway, getting our power score, so we've got 20 units built, so we should be able to get at least 2 kills. Fairly confident of that. Might be able to get him with infantry as well. Probably not. Okay, just be safe. Get rid of you with the 1 HP tank. No, 5 HP tank on a 1 HP anti-air. Right, so get rid of this tank. nice. And then that's it, yeah. We only lost, well, we lost no units. Killed 2 units in 1 day. I'm going to do this in 9 days. The speed score is 22 days. And if we'd played with fog, it would have been even easier, so I think we're done.
Mission complete.
My thoughts exactly. Right, so I want to give my thoughts on this hack so far. So for now, we'll just comment on this map. We're able to cheese this one again, so for the finale, going it in style, I suppose. Overall, this was a fairly fun hack. It's only a demo for now, so there'll probably be some improvements made. There's definitely some changes to the AI I'd like to see. We'll just quickly go through some of the maps again. So these early maps are just really an introduction to the hack. Okay, so these ones are alright. I like these maps. Broken Heart, not a huge fan of. A ground-only map with a huge mountain range in the middle of the map. It kind of leads to a stall war, and then you get mechs floating over the mountains, especially because the opponent's in Nazir. The gimmick with the cities on those other islands was cool, but still, I would change a few things about this map. Soul Harbour, this one. Okay, to be fair, I did cheese some of these maps, so my demonstration of beating them wasn't the best, but these ones seem to be alright from what I saw. This one was good. This one's a bit of a meme with all the cruisers, but it's an interesting challenge, I guess. I like these ones. Outside of a cheese strategy with moving the lander next to the port for Yomi, this one was fine as well. I do like these maps as well. Empire Hills, this one was challenging. This is probably my favourite map of the hack so far. It actually made me think about using indirects and strategies that aren't just cheesing the HQ. And then, as we saw with Final Exam, we beat that one in 9 days, but that was probably just a fluke. So for COs, we'll quickly go over them again. So Andrea, just kind of like a Andy clone, slightly better. Not too interesting, but not bad. Mars is interesting. Never really got to use the power that copies enemy powers, but it's an interesting design and it's got great potential. Dual Strike is obviously powerful, especially for only 4 stars, but the units are very weak and you can't instantly capture HQs, so it's not too overpowered. Eva, fairly decent CO. The snow every 5 days is fairly consistent, so you can plan around it, especially when you're fighting her. And her powers aren't too oppressive either. It's not like Olaf with 2 HP global damage. I never really used the super, but the fact that it only deals damage when it's snowing also limits her viability. Honestly, I might change that because it doesn't seem like it's ever going to be too useful. You may end up in a situation where you have to wait 4 turns just to use your super to get the damage bonus, so personally I would probably change that to always damage. Because at least then it's just basically like Ex Machina. George, so George is pretty cool. the extra defense and counterattacks stack well. Yeah. Lower firepower is not great, but his day-to-day is fairly strong. This is a cool concept because it makes walling really, really difficult to break through with George. Having units next to each other makes them really tanky. And then his super is really cool. He gets a very powerful attack and defense boost, and then he can also shove units out of the way. So not only can he wall like a god, but he can also break walls by shoving units out of the way, pushing units into each other, and with a huge boost to attack power, it's going to be very difficult to wall against George, so I really like George's design so far. Katrina is a very interesting CO. The day-to-day is not all that great, honestly, but it is what it is. The CO power, I get what you're going for here, but you have to use 2 stars just to even activate this power. Sure, if you kill a lot of units during this power, you'll be able to charge your super very quickly. But I think that's only really going to be useful on very large maps, where there's a lot of units. And then the super is one of the most interesting designs I've seen in any hack so far. A super that remains in place after being used and completely changes your powers is very cool. The stun when you deal 5 damage or more is interesting for sure, especially considering it lasts even after using the super when you turn into Bomber Barbara, but we'll have to see how good that is in the future. Sally, yeah, I used her a few times, so she's better than I initially thought. I thought the CO power was just going to be a weaker version of Turbocharge with +1 move and maybe a small boost to your attack power, but refueling the 1+ HP, which then activates the +1 move from the day-to-day, it's quite good. And then her super, honestly, I don't think this is all that great. You get a guaranteed point of move. It doesn't say it refuels and restocks ammo from what I'm seeing here. So if you do have a full fueled unit, yes, you get +2 move effectively, but I think you could even tack on the refuel to this Super CO and it'll still be not that amazing, because you don't get any like firepower boosts aside from the regular boost from using a power. The ability to reposition units after they've taken their turn is interesting, I'll say that. I did test it out myself using this Super CO power, and it's kind of limited in its use because you have to take an action, then move away. You can't take another unit's action and then move with your own units, which, to be fair, that might be a bit broken if you can do that, but yeah, it's a bit limited in scope, but I would definitely at least give you the ability to refuel and restock ammo with the Super CO power as well. Tsunami is a pretty cool CO. Units that are below 5 HP, well, at 5 HP and below, double their effective damage dealt. The CO power and Super do have global damage, which can be a bit annoying, but they are fairly expensive CO powers, 4 and 3. The ability to fight as though you're at full strength and capture with 10 HP is very, very powerful, I will say that. So far, Tsunami seems to be a fairly solid CO. Don't think there's much I'll change about her just yet. And then Yomi is considerably strong. The camp-based stats on day-to-day without any extra cost is really good. The fact that he can't counter-attack though does keep him in check. His CO and Super CO powers are really good. CO power ignores terrain, gives you max luck damage, and you can see into reefs and woods during fog. And then the Super, it gives you attack boost, which can be stored even. So honestly, I think the CO power might be a bit more useful, at least if there's a good situation to use it. But if you do have to charge for the Super, you can just use it whenever and store it on all your units that have been built, which does have some interesting applications. I wouldn't change too much about Yomi just now. He's a strong CO, but it's not overpowered, I don't think. And then we've got the other COs here from Black Hole, or whatever this country's called in this hack. So we've got Jonathan. We didn't use him too much, but strong in woods. If you attack from them, and if you start your turn on a tile from woods, you also get at least a 10% bonus, so not bad. Being immune to rain and having +1 vision in fog is good, especially considering his power summons though. For 3 stars, it's an alright power. It's more useful in this hack than it would normally be because the AI doesn't cheat in fog, so it's actually considerably better than you may think. His Super is really good. Initially I thought this just meant his powers would activate if you're on a wood or a reef, but when I was playing against him early on in the hack, it seemed to just apply globally, so it's better than what it seems, if this is right. The extra move and range on indirect is also a nice little boost as well, so fairly good CO, yeah. Then Nazir, oh boy, Nazir. Yeah, he can be fairly annoying when he starts spamming at his units, so being able to buy 3 units for only 2 stars may be a bit overpowered. Sure, it's not the same as Sensei or Hachi, but you can definitely snowball into amassing a huge horde of mechs, which can be annoying to deal with. And then his Super, he doesn't get the same ability to buy units from cities, but the +2 move and the ability to negate enemies' defenses is actually fairly scary. Yeah, he's a very solid CO. Honestly, I think I might personally make the normal CO power at least 1 star more expensive. You can maybe compensate by making it 3-3 instead of 2-4 for the CO charge meter, but that's just me personally. And then Hayden is a very unique CO. His day-to-day is fairly not interesting, if I'm going to be honest. It's just a slight boost to expensive units at the cost of being weaker with lower cost units. His CO power is non-existent aside from the 10-10 boost on attack and defense. And then his Super, though, has very good applications I can think of. Being able to turn tanks into medium tanks, artillery into rockets or missiles, and then you can also turn cruisers into battleships. Yeah, he's definitely got potential, especially on naval maps, I'd say. He's not overpowered, but I don't think he really needs any changes either, so yeah, fairly solid CO. And then Wolf is kind of like a mix between Adder and Grim. His day-to-day is fairly good, honestly. The lower defense only by 10%. It's not a huge loss like it is with Grim, who has minus 20% defense. Having plus 20 attack on all units is pretty strong as well. His CO power is just Adders, and then his Super, it's got great potential to wipe out entire armies, honestly. It's only going to be useful on larger maps, where you can amass a few kills first to get the boost, but there is definitely potential for it to be very, very powerful. So I do like Wolf as well. No CO is no CO, obviously, so not much to say about them. Honestly, I think you could make their power at least 1 star cheaper. Having to use 5 stars just to a 10-10 boost in attack and defense may be a bit overkill, but I guess maybe that's the point of having a handicap with playing with no CO, but that's just me. And that's it, yeah. Okay, so yeah, those are my thoughts on the hack so far. Really liking it so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Vivi does with it in the future. That's it for now though, so when future updates come out, I'll definitely do videos on them. But for now, that's it, so see you then. Bye.